No trace of Hannah has been found since she disappeared in the early hours of Saturday, September the 13th, now more than 3 weeks ago. Somebody listening to me today either knows where Hannah is or knows someone who has that information. Please, please, please help end this nightmare for all of us. Please help us to bring Hannah home. Thank you.
Hannah Elizabeth Graham, who was born in England but moved to Virginia with her family when she was young. What was meant to be a fun night out with friends soon turned into a twisted and tragic tale of 18-year-old Hannah Graham. The college student who had moved to the US at 6 years old and studied at the University of Virginia was out with friends. And when she left alone, apart from a strange text message to friends, it would be the last time anyone would hear from Hannah. Hannah disappeared after a night out in Charlottesville, Virginia, and was last seen in a local downtown mall. Here are the last recorded bits of footage of Hannah on CCTV. At 1:20 a.m. on the night she disappeared, Hannah messaged friends saying she had left one party, was headed to another, but was lost and unsure of her location. September 2014.
It's a college weekend, so that night she texted a friend that she was lost, that she wasn't sure of where she was. That was the last time they heard from Hannah. Friends of hers, and hoped that she had crashed at a friend's house, hoped that she was sleeping at somebody else's dorm or somebody else's apartment. But the next day, when her roommates knew that she didn't come home, they immediately suspected something wasn't quite right.
A nationwide search was launched in September 2014. Hannah Graham's disappearance received widespread national media coverage due to the nature of the case, her young age, and the fact that she was a college student. The extensive search garnered national attention, involving hundreds of volunteers. Early on in the investigation, the police put out a plea for anyone in the area with CCTV to review it to see if you can see this girl walking anywhere near your property. Pretty soon, footage started coming in for the police to start piecing together what happened to Hannah that night.
Hannah Graham, where are you? We want you back where you belong. We love you more than you know, and we cannot wait to see you soon.
One piece of CCTV footage was crucial. It was the one of the downtown mall, where you can see Hannah walking across at the back and then across the front. A tall man with dark hair walks past and loops round and starts to follow Hannah. Then another bit of footage where Hannah walks past with the man with his arm around her shoulder. Police appeal for any information on this man. Unfortunately for Hannah, this would be the night she encountered a very dangerous man, Jesse Matthew. There had been several allegations of Matthews that night, harassing women. The two witnesses followed Matthew and Graham to Tempo, where they say Matthew bought a drink for himself and one for Graham. Matthew and Graham left Tempo together, were captured on surveillance footage walking arm in arm past the Red Pump kitchen at 1:18 a.m. Shadows from the surveillance footage indicate Matthew pauses for about 10 seconds. It's not clear whether Graham also paused. The witness said Graham separated from Matthew and began to walk ahead of him. The witness watched Graham cross a street in a crosswalk, and that's when he said Matthew approached her again and put his arm around her. The victim was in a vulnerable state after drinking too much. The witness later told authorities that the man she was with did not look friendly. She also heard the victim say to Matthews, "I'm not getting in the car with you," as the pair were standing by Matthews' 1998 Chrysler Sebring. The witness told investigators Graham's voice sounded elevated, rapid and frightened, as if she did not know Matthew. The witness kept walking but didn't hear anything else and didn't see them again, despite continuing to listen and looking back twice. Less than 2 minutes later, the witness drove past the spot but didn't see Graham or Matthew. A nationwide manhunt was on for Matthews.
They were searching the perimeter, they were searching the inside, and that day they walked out of his apartment with over a dozen evidence bags with stuff that they had collected. So one of the things that they found is Hannah Graham's DNA. That was the evidence that they needed to then issue a warrant for his arrest in connection with her disappearance. Jesse was on the run. Who knows where he was going? Was he headed to Richmond? Was he headed to a nearby state? There was now this suspect who had lost police and could be anywhere. This story with Hannah Graham going missing had gone nationwide. It paid off because hundreds of miles away from Charlottesville, Virginia, on the beach of Galveston, Texas, there was somebody who said that she had actually seen Jesse Matthews' image, and lo and behold, just down from her on the beach was Jesse Matthews.
The FBI brought Matthews back to Charlottesville on a plane for questioning and sentencing. 32-year-old Jesse Leroy Matthew Jr., aka LJ, had already been accused twice of sexual assault at both Christopher Newport University and Liberty University in Lynchburg. He left each school swiftly after each allegation was reported. Although authorities investigated the report, neither incident brought a criminal case against him.
You know, the reward to find missing Hannah Graham is now up to $100,000, but the man charged with abducting her is now behind bars. We want to show you two key pieces of video from Galveston, Texas, but first take a look at this. This is the new mugshot after being arrested and booked. We know 32-year-old Jesse Matthew had been in Texas since at least Tuesday because here he's seen walking into a convenience store. Police say he purchased bug repellents.
This evening, authorities now revealing forensic evidence might link this case to another mystery.
In 2009, Harrington was visiting the University of Virginia for a Metallica concert when she went missing.
The Morgan Harrington case was a case that rocked this UVA community. A couple of days after Morgan Harrington went missing, her shirt was found close to campus. That shirt had the killer's DNA on it. They now have DNA from Jesse Matthews. They run that DNA against that mystery DNA found on Morgan Harrington's shirt, and it's a match.
But despite Matthews not saying anything, people kept searching for Hannah. And then 35 days after Hannah disappeared, on October 18th, 2014, her body was found.
Teams back out searching for more clues. ABC's Bazi Kanani has the latest from Charlottesville. Tonight, police sealing off what is now a crime scene after the discovery of human remains that could be 18-year-old Hannah Graham. The usually emphatic Charlottesville police chief, somber, explaining more tests must be done to confirm the identity and thanking searchers.
Found with Graham's remains was a crop top she was last seen wearing, which was unzipped and inside out, and her jeans, which were also inside out and had holes that hadn't been there when she was last seen. Investigators found her watch nearby, but her undergarments, shoes and cell phone were never recovered. A medical examiner ruled the young woman's death the result of homicidal violence, likely by suffocation or strangulation, because she didn't suffer significant trauma to her skull. Graham had 2 nasal fractures that likely occurred at or near her time of death. Families of both Harrington and Graham read emotional victim impact statements. Graham's mother, Sue, described her daughter as a heroine who helped change the world. She helped capture a serial rapist and murderer who had been hiding in plain sight in Charlottesville for years.
And 6 years after Virginia Tech student Morgan Harrington was found murdered not far from where we're standing tonight, Jesse Matthew has now confessed to the crime. He also confessed today to killing Hannah Graham more than 5 years later in 2014. Now, by signing that plea agreement to both their murders, both their abductions, he has avoided the death penalty.
Matthews took a plea deal to escape the death penalty.
Today, Jesse Matthew Jr. pled guilty to the first-degree murder of Hannah Graham, guilty to the abduction with intent to defile Hannah Graham, guilty to the first-degree murder of Morgan Harrington, and guilty to the abduction with intent to defile Morgan Harrington. Matthew will serve the maximum penalty for each of these offenses, 4 additional consecutive life terms. He has waived his right to appeal or withdraw his plea, and waived any right to petition for early release, conditional release, geriatric release, or any type of parole. In exchange, the Commonwealth null pros a capital murder charge against him. However, the Commonwealth reserves the right to re-indict this charge without time limitation should the terms of this plea be violated. This agreement serves the interests of justice. It ensures public safety and offender accountability with the plea of guilty, 4 consecutive life terms, and the elimination of any possibility of release. It serves the interests of justice by providing a joint resolution consistent with the wishes of the Graham and Harrington families that avoids the additional re-victimization associated with highly public trial.
The family wasn't interested in Matthews paying with his life. They just wanted to make sure no one could be hurt by this monster again, and he spends the rest of his life locked behind bars.
I'd like to make it very clear that Mr. Tracy did consult us as the plea agreement was negotiated, and the agreement concluded today has our full support. Our overriding priority was that Matthew will never be able again to inflict his depravity on young women. The agreement meets this objective, which we regard as a public safety imperative. Matthew's deeds show that he is far too dangerous ever to be allowed to be free. The agreement also spares Hannah's friends who would have been witnesses, the community, our family, and us, the re-traumatization that a 4-week trial would have brought.
The finality and accountability that has been achieved today with this plea agreement will allow our family to redirect energy into healing and recovery. Both are areas that we have neglected during our quest for justice for Morgan. It has been a very long journey to this point.
Hannah's parents are fighting for enhanced DNA testing for misdemeanor crimes, as this would have prevented Matthews ever meeting Hannah.
They're testifying before the State Crime Commission, pushing for enhanced DNA collection in the Commonwealth from people convicted of certain misdemeanor crimes.
Doing the utmost possible to remove dangerous sex offenders and murderers from the streets of this country is a very basic part of protection of the people.
Jesse Matthew was convicted of murdering Hannah Graham in 2014. 4 years beforehand, he was convicted of a misdemeanor. Hannah's parents say if the change was in place, she would still be alive.
Had Jesse Matthews' DNA been taken on his conviction for criminal trespass, then he would have been in jail where he rightly belonged.
He wouldn't have been roaming the streets of Charlottesville looking for victims and having.
Since Harrington's death, her mother has devoted her life to help save the girls, a non-profit organization she founded to honor her daughter and help to prevent further women falling to the same tragic ending.
responsible for the murder of 2 Virginia college students has been transferred from Sussex One State Prison to a hospital here in Richmond. Back in 2016, Jesse Matthew Jr. confessed to the murders of Virginia Tech student Morgan Harrington and University of Virginia student Hannah Graham. In May 2019, he revealed to our Laura French he had been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. At this time, we know that Matthew has been transferred to the MCV Hospital Security Care and remains in custody of the Virginia Department of Corrections. We do not know the reason he was sent to the hospital, but we're going to continue to bring you updates on this developing story.
Was this karma catching up to Matthews? Please let me know what you think of this tragic story down below in the comments. Our hearts go out to the families involved. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.